This is Miss Williams, a fourth grade teacher. This is Miss Williams' math class, a typical group of curious and aspiring individuals. Miss Williams is using Time to Know's unique digital teaching platform, which empowers her with new ways to reach and teach her students. Miss Williams enters her main screen and selects the relevant lesson from the Time to Know recommended curriculum, which covers the entire year. Today's lesson is about comparing fractions. As the lesson begins, the entire class views a short, motivating clip that presents an authentic math problem.
Get ready to see who will be the school champion of the 200-yard race. The competitors: Lou, Ben, John, and Andy. On your marks, get set, go! The competition is not over yet. Andy is in the lead. Lou ran 4/5 of the course. Ben ran 2/3 of the course. John ran 6/7 of the course.
Miss Williams asks, if Andy is in the lead, who is in second place? A lively class discussion immediately ensues. Next, Miss Williams directs her students to discover the answer on their own. She activates the first learning activity, called the race, and they begin to work individually. Some students have put on earphones to get additional help. Let's see how Tony is doing. He is asked to indicate what part of the whole racetrack each runner has run, using a familiar fraction applet. He can see that Lou ran 4/5 of the race, so he commands the mathematical applet to divide the strip into 5 bars and highlights 4 of them. For Ben, he generates 3 bars and highlights 2. He does the same for John and ranks the runners according to their position in the results table. Now he is asked to suggest a fraction representing how far Andy ran. Knowing that Andy is in the lead, Tony adds a new strip representing Andy's position on the track and decides to divide it into 8 bars. He then highlights 7 of them. Satisfied with his result, Tony writes the corresponding fraction in the results table and sends his answer to Miss Williams. In the gallery, Tony's answer is added to the answers the other students have submitted. Now that all of the students have completed their task, Miss Williams uses the Eyes on the Teacher function to focus their attention on the main board. Using the gallery feature, Miss Williams displays 2 correct answers and asks, "Why are these 2 answers correct?" To help her students, she displays the fraction bars representing 2nd, 3rd, and 4th places, and adds Tony's and Jane's suggestions for 1st place. Miss Williams asks, can you explain why 7/8 and 11/12 are greater than 6/7? The class is still struggling for an answer. To help them, Miss Williams sorts the fractions according to size.
I know, because 7/8 and 11/12 are missing a smaller part than 6/7.
The class has just discovered the complete to whole rule. Now it's time to practice the new rule. Based on the student's progress, Time to Know has analyzed each student's learning needs and made personal recommendations for activities at his or her level. Miss Williams uses the information to divide the class into 2 groups. Students in the red group can individually practice the rule in a game called the Fraction War. For the advanced blue group, Miss Williams has provided a link to the Mathematics Encyclopedia, where they're introduced to the Rind Papyrus Scroll in order to explore Egyptian fractions. The advanced students are moving along rapidly, while the students in the red group are taking their time. Each student is free to advance at his or her own level. Meanwhile, the power of differential learning is also being implemented in Miss Johnson's English Language Arts class. They are about to start exploring a text passage. Miss Johnson has created 3 reading groups in her class: pre-level, on-level, and above-level. Gabriella has just moved to the above-level group from the on-level group, while Ben is still in the pre-level group. They're both presented with differentiated text passages. While the content of each passage is identical, the text that Ben reads is simpler in terms of lexical complexity. In the past, Ben struggled with reading and couldn't concentrate. The text reader assists him. He hears the narration with headphones while simultaneously viewing the highlighted paragraphs. Kwan heard many voices coming from outside the family hut. It was late, and such conversations were unusual at this hour. An embedded dictionary provides additional support. Back in math class, Miss Williams monitors the progress and performance of each of her students in real time while they are working. This allows her to instantly identify students who are having difficulties and offer an immediate response. An alert on her screen indicates that Tony is still struggling with his worksheet, so she decides to approach him and offer her personal assistance. The lesson is about to end, so Miss Williams assigns her class their homework, which they can complete online. After class, she chooses to log in to review the lesson she had just completed teaching. Based on her class performance that day, she decides to add more practice activities for tomorrow. So she searches the content library for an appropriate game that covers the same state standards and assigns the game to the lower performing students. She is ready for tomorrow's class.